Hey up everybody, Richie here from RW Hobbies, part number 2 of Tamiya's 48 scale F-16. In this part we're going to do some miscellaneous stuff, we're going to do the fuselage, we're going to do exhaust nozzle, all kinds of stuff as we continue with the build on this beautiful aircraft. Hey guys, Richie here, welcome back to the next part of Tamiya's beautiful F-16 build in 48 scale. Now, as you can see, we've made a little bit of progress since last time around. So, last time around, we're pretty much here. As I explained, you had to kind of get this gear in early because we're going to build around it. And what I've done basically is taken step number 4 here and just taken the rear side of the fuselage and attached it to the lower, and no problems at all. Now, using these awesome clips, which I've showed about my Facebook group a few weeks back from Amazon, about $13, and you get packs of all different sizes, as you can see I'm using here. And the beauty is they're flat and they don't ping off, and you get different areas, different sizes. So just glued it about 20 minutes ago. It should be pretty much dry, but just holding it down, clamping it, well, it stays in place. And especially down here, using these, you see we've got those seam line. So they fit actually perfectly along there. Again, flat, holding it together well. So put that together, again, letting that dry for a little bit longer. And on the front here, we've added the little panel on the side and the front, so A10. Now we do have a combination of different kits you can make out of this one. You do have the this side of the bird slicers on, but all A to D variants on this do have the A10 piece, which I used here. If you do wish to build any other F-16, then this is a pretty good kit to get the Aggressor one, because you've got both engine types and you've got both, all kinds of different configurations you can make out of this one. You've got the big intake, the small intake, mouth, and yeah, it's a pretty versatile kit. So yeah, so I've got the front end. I'm also not going to apply it yet because I need to build a cockpit, but and let this dry. But that piece, those two pieces are in there, glued in nicely in place, and that's taken care of as well. So that pretty much takes us to 4. Now L8 are the 2 lights that go in the back here. It's basically the inner side of the clear part's going to be clear. The outer is going to be fuselage color. So what that means is once this is all dry and ready to go, I'm actually going to paint the clear parts silver on the back, and then put them in place, glue them in place, and then with a touch masking fluid, like I think I'm using this guy right here, just applied with a toothpick, just a little drop in the center of each light, and then when we paint it, we can go ahead and paint it, and at the very end we just pick off that. It should leave the clear bit in the center, and because that's a fuselage color, we'll leave that. That's where we're going to put it in now. I think will be easier. So just note on that one, and then so I'm going to skip ahead instructions a wee bit here to the next page, and that is going to be the nozzle. Now again, we're doing C. If you're doing A or B, we're going to be following down the left side. I scored it through because we're doing C. So C or D, we're going to use this type of exhaust. So we're using basically Q instead of H. So you use Q4, Q12, Q1, and basically putting all this together. And there we go. So that's the game plan. I'm going to start cutting these pieces off as always. I'll get them painted up and we'll be right back. So got the first bit of paint on the nozzle, the exhaust nozzle here. So I primed everything with black, Mr. Surface of 1500 black. White on the insides, just mist it on, not a thick coat, so then you still get that kind of grimy, kind of dirty look. Metallic grey, I went with LP, not the XF version, the lacquer version on the fan blade here and then around the edge. And next step really is to paint the outer side, and I'm thinking with a hand paint in between the turkey feathers back here. So I'm going to paint the titanium. Let me check my instructions real quick. It is X32, which is going to be, I always get confused which is which. X32 with titanium silver. So titanium silver I'm going to spray on that guy, and brush paint all the high areas here. An interesting combination per instructions of clear blue and gunmetal, and I'm just going to just kind of dry brush the higher raise points on here. This part here, what I'm going to seal this paint in at the end, and then this will get attached to the end of the fuselage, and then we'll obviously mask it first, and then that'll get painted the fuselage color, the back part here. And that is pretty much where we're at right now. We're just working on some painting. I did these yesterday, so it's all fully dry. So like I said, I'm going to spray the outside of this and hand paint that guy right there. Okay, so back on the main fuselage, a couple of things. Glued these guys on with the pins from the underside. And I can't remember if I mentioned it. If I did already, I apologize. It's been one of those days. But painted silver in these areas before I put the lens in, just so you have some color behind the lens, not just the plastic kind of this plastic color. So lenses are in, glued in, and I'll just add a touch of masking fluid in the center of each one using a toothpick. So that's this guy done. And put that to the side, and the tail's done. Working along nicely here, no problems at all, just as you expect, great fit. Just following through the instructions. Now, on this part here, what I did do was to add some polycaps, because I got a ton of polycaps in this bag with, in the box here, and the instructions didn't mention it. So I thought it kind of weird you had no polycaps but you had pins. So I added the polycaps in, which fit perfectly, and you can see here it just goes together pretty well. And I haven't tried it yet, but let's see if the tail fits. It should do, no problems at all with the pins. There you go, and nice fit. We don't even need to glue that down, I don't think. So fits really well, no problem at all. And yep, I'm glad I put polycaps in because obviously it helps. So yeah, wasn't instructions, which is weird because Tamiya are really good with instructions. So that's done, and now back to this guy. I can't get this thing glued down. We'll get it glued down in a minute. So came back with that kind of bluey mixture, put instructions, just dry brushed it over it. Painted this guy up, as you can see. And if I just get into position, there we go. Now, painted, I didn't use the acrylic, used the lacquer version of the titanium silver. And then did that mix with the red and gunmetal per the instructions, and just hand painted it in. So nice wet mixture. When I say wet, I mean a lot of thinners, and just let it kind of run into the crevices and stuff. Now, so I painted it first, and then I made a super thin, almost like a wash. The paint, just add extra thinner, probably about 89% thinner, probably 90% thinner to actually to 10% paint, if not higher ratio, and just dribbled it in the top of each, and let the gravity just pull it down and do its work. It's the same actually painting it, so it just brought it down, no problem at all. Now look at this same color it says to use for this band around here. Now looking on reference material, it's more of a silvery color, so I used LP11, and then I came back in to some weathering, some heat staining, using my usual Alclad mixture, and you can't beat Alclad for these. So I got jet exhaust, then I came back with hot metal blue, actually was my second color, and then hot metal red. So these are the three colors I used. Love these, used them for years. And now the key is very low pressure and very, 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 very lightly with the trigger. Just mist it. Don't hose it on, just little light dusting and misting, and build it up. And that's kind of what I did there with the various colors. Now, did use some of my MRP exhaust color, which I talked about in the past. It's more like a wash. It's not really a paint, but applied some of that in the inside, just give it some weathering look, and it's looking pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just literally going to clear coat around the end of this where I painted it, just seal the paint in, and once that's drying, I'm going to mask up around it. And then what's going to happen is, sure it's the right way around or not. Let's see. It goes this way around. And then what I'll do is once it's masked, I'll glue it in place, and then it'll be, this part is all blended into the fuselage color, which will be the camo in our case. This can be left separate, and then at the very end, we just need to come back in and just glue it on once the whole thing's painted and weathered and all the rest of the stuff. And there we go. That's kind of a quick update of what I've kind of been up to. A lot of work going into this, but actually main assembly is pretty much kind of there. It's not that much left to do. So before I forget, I'm going to add some masking fluid to these guys, and then get this clear coated. So I'm going to leave it for a few hours and get it masked up. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this up now. A lot of progress made. Obviously we talked about the fuselage. I added a quick little fishing weight to the nose, just to counter it. I don't think you necessarily need it, but better be safe than sorry. So I added a fishing weight, a touch of super glue just to hold it in. That guy, and I gave this quick clear coat just to seal it all in. And again, this one like I mentioned. So before next week, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just mask it up around the line here, the back side, and then we'll glue it in. Nothing really to show on camera there, nothing too exciting. And then again, I'll blend it into the rest of the aircraft. But that's really it. A lot of different pieces going on here, but I think it's a good stopping point. So I'm going to go ahead and end part number 2 here. Part number 3 will come back next week, and most probably, well, hopefully I'll have my Quinta Studios and we can start working on the cockpit tub and getting the front end of the fuselage together. So in the meantime, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.